be irulao. Watch your back, the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, it's coming from the trench is gonna get you. Watch your back, gotta wash those red hands. It's the crimes of the Basquelands. It's the crimes of the Basquelands.
Quick content warning. This podcast details crimes and descriptions of violence that may be disturbing or triggering. It may not be suitable for all listeners. We'll do our best to warn listeners about what to expect before each episode and to include them in our show notes. So enjoy the show. Hello.
Hello, Julie. How you doing?
Kaisho,
everybody. Ongitori, welcome to the podcast.
Yes.
Crimes in all of the Basquelands.
Yes.
Forever ambiguous in my brain.
Yes. Welcome. So we're doing a Txikisode this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be short, because
No.
Txiki means small.
It is.
So
just short
small
stories.
episodes. It's just, short little stories.
It might be a little bit shorter today, but
Maybe.
let's see.
Yeah.
And
So how have you been, Douglas?
Doing
Any
good.
news to report?
I don't think necessarily.
No?
No.
I'm extremely stoked on the good weather, personally. I love spring, and I love me some summer, so I'm really happy.
It's
When
definitely
it starts
hotting
getting
up.
long days and warmer. Yeah, so that's happening here. But
It
it's
is.
also a little worrying because we're probably not going to have, a good... we'll have a drought probably this summer, which means all of our food is going to be at risk. Agriculture.
Well, I mean, the Basque country will be fine.
Maybe, yeah.
We got a lot of weather.
I mean, we haven't had any rain, though. All of April, no rain.
I just got a feeling that like December or January or something, they were saying there was tons of rain.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't?
The whole winter,
Okay.
no rain. It was like 3 weeks in February, and that was it. And usually it's from December to June that it's raining pretty consistently. But, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, well.
Maybe we'll just have a very rainy summer, and that'll just rain on everyone's parade for summer plans.
Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see.
So, yeah.
We're having a very fun drink today.
Oh, yeah, because I was feeling very summery.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to bust out a cocktail instead of a beer or wine.
Yeah, and we're having strawberry gin. Do you want to introduce the cocktail?
Strawberry gin. I bought some raspberries. Put those in there. Lime.
Yeah, there was a special tonic, you think? What was it?
Some berry tonic.
Berry tonic and
It's very
bubbly
fruity.
water.
Yeah.
Very fresh, not very sweet. Loving it. 10 pints,
good
Julie.
stuff.
Let's cheers for our
Cheers. So it's not
listeners.
Basque, but it's fine. It's spring.
Yeah, it's spring. We looked it up. It's from Jerez, right, in the south,
Yeah.
which is a very traditional alcohol-producing region.
Right.
So
Because isn't that sherry? Like, is that
Yeah,
where
exactly.
sherry comes from? Yeah.
Jerez is sherry is a version in English of Jerez,
Yeah.
and the drink as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Cheers
So
to
there you go. Cheers.
Cheers to Jerez.
Cheers to summer cocktails.
That also. I have to say, like, it's not too it's we had a couple of days ago, we had a really hot day, and then it went down again to like maximum 23, which I think is lovely.
Yeah, that's Celsius for those of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't translate
Which
it
is
into
like, I guess
Fahrenheit.
like 30 would be like almost 85.
I have no idea.
Something like that. And
Let's
then
just say numbers.
23 would be like 70 or something, somewhere around there.
Means nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's like saying 2.5.
It'll
or
mean something to
7.8.
anyone that like lives in Fahrenheit,
I know, I'm sorry,
which is
Fahrenheit
American
people.
listeners, essentially.
Get over it.
And maybe UK listeners.
No, I don't
I think they know both. No?
I think older people know that, but not really, no.
Oh, okay.
Our producer's nodding her head.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I've seen a lot more, like, younger channels on YouTube that are from America, like, dissing this as well. Which
Dissing the empirical system.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
stupid system.
So it feels like, we're allowed to be Fahrenheit.
Sure, let's all talk in Celsius, and everybody will just be like, 23? That's freezing. What are you talking about?
You can translate.
Yeah. So look it up, because there's some really convoluted math formula to figure it out.
Nobody cares. It's
I've
only
never
Americans' problems.
went through, the process of figuring it out myself. So
Right.
I
So
just look it up. I just put it in Google.
You still think...
What is this in Fahrenheit?
Right.
If I'm wondering.
Okay. But you have your thing, and mobile is in Celsius.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I think in Celsius now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think in kilometers now. Used to think in miles, but now I think in kilometers. Feet.
You've transitioned.
I don't think in feet anymore. I think in...
Welcome to-
Well, actually, no, that's not true. I don't think in feet in terms of like your height.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
No, I still don't know how tall I am in centimeters.
That's cute. Maybe it's too depressing. Lol.
No, it's always small. It's always a small number. I'm a very small person.
I'm
Never a
proud of
shock
it.
that
You should be
I'm
proud
so
of it.
small. Yeah.
Get to small places, huggy places.
I do. I could fit in a dryer if I need to.
That's a good one. I don't think. Can you still do that, Julie?
I'm going to try. I'm going to go home tonight.
No, I don't encourage that. I don't encourage any of our listeners or
I'm
you
not
to
going
do
to
that.
turn it on. I'm just going to see if I fit inside.
Well, but there could be so
I
many
might mess
problems.
up the dryer, though. Yeah. Too much
Yeah.
weight. Something like that.
Shh. We don't think so.
That's also, I have to think like in pounds versus in kilos. So that's another thing I have to think about.
You see, you're just creating problems
switched.
for
No, I've
yourself.
switched my own brain, but it took a while to switch to switch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've switched so many times of everything that I mean, it's most not that like I've always used meters and stuff, but like I grew up for a long time in Brazil, and so there was a lot of changing
empirical?
currency. I think I had 7 currencies during my time in
Oh,
Brazil.
currencies, yeah. That must be very confusing.
I became a
How
millionaire.
much does this thing
paid
cost,
nothing.
really?
I'd get dollars and exchange rates and that kind of
How
thing.
much should a piece of candy cost? I mean,
$500,000? 5? It's all relative.
yeah.
New Cruzados, new Cruzados. They're such ridiculous
So they just went with the
names.
same name and put one was new, one was old?
The stupid one was when they had this one called Cruzeiro, which is like a cross or
Okay.
something like that. And then at some point they changed it to Cruzado, which is like another way of saying cross or a cross. And then they had the Cruzeiro Novo, like the new Crusade.
The
And it's
new.
like, come on, guys. Like, what's even the point of changing it this time, right?
Yeah.
They even had the like version where they like stamped 3 zeros behind banknotes, and that was supposed to be the new number. All sorts of ridiculous things.
God, how do people keep up?
Exactly.
I would have been
Exactly.
lost. Totally lost.
Fahrenheit seems like nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing. That formula, the days when you had to do math formula and didn't have Google to look things up.
Hey, it's all over now. Google's
Google
with
saved
us.
the day.
Google's with us. So for
Well,
any-
our podcast is about if we want to refresh our listeners.
all our new listeners, Julie.
Yes,
Let's
all the new
introduce it a little
listeners.
bit. Hey, hello, welcome.
Hello, it's about crimes of the Basquelands, but the Basquelands would incorporate anything from the
Anywhere
Basque
a Basque
country
person went.
and anywhere in the world that a Basque person was,
Yeah. Yeah.
something
Living.
happened and they were a victim of a crime or
He's a.
the perpetrator of a crime
Yeah.
or
He reported on a crime.
involved somehow.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it's all
The judge was Basque. Oh, we can talk about it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. It's tenuous. It doesn't have
And
to
we
be.
learn things about the Basque country on our way, right?
Yeah.
Surnames
That's
and
right.
places.
Surnames, places,
traditions,
some language
little things.
lessons. Yeah. So today on the Txikisode, we're going to talk about some small stories or just like headlines that we found.
Mm-hmm.
And
You have our first story.
the first story is kind of sad, but it's pretty Basco, if you
Okay.
ask me.
Okay.
Okay, so this was in Gipuzkoa, in Irun.
Mm-hmm. Very
Gipuzkoa.
famous. Quite a big town, I think.
Yeah.
Next to Donostia, right? San Sebastian.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very close
More
to
or less.
Donosti or San Sebastian. So 2 men found dead in a hamlet in the Olaberria neighborhood.
Cute.
Yeah. So it's a small little village right outside of Irun, I guess.
Okay.
Olaveria. Or that's the neighborhood, a small outskirts neighborhood.
It's kind of hard to know
In the
here because they
region,
have
yeah.
so many names, right? Sometimes there's a municipality and then you'll have the neighborhoods, but then you'll have like special
And I'm
names.
probably saying it wrong. Olaveria, maybe it would be. I don't know.
think-
It didn't have the accent on it.
Olaveria, yeah. Olaveria.
Olaveria.
I think it could be both.
Yeah. So yeah, they so these two men, one of which was aged 53 and the other 47, they were found in this, so that's what they're calling the neighborhood, Olaveria, in Irun. And they both died of gunshot wounds, specifically gunshot wounds. And it turns out that the two men had been kind of like partners in business. They owned a piece of land. They'd bought up some land together for caravan use, like to park caravans there, right? So it was like an old. I read somewhere that it was a slaughterhouse, an old slaughterhouse, and they ended up buying that property. It was unused, not used anymore, slaughterhouse. And we're going to commercially change the purpose
of it.
Yeah. So they're suspecting that it was part of a business dispute between the two, and that
both were dead.
One of them shot the other,
Uh-huh.
and then committed suicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's intense.
I know.
So that's their conclusion then?
it just happened. So
Okay.
the investigation is ongoing.
Still going.
Yeah. So that's the speculation, I guess, at this point, as to why this might have happened. I guess talking to family members or whoever, might be like, well, they were having some disagreements.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why did you think it was such a Basque crime, though?
I didn't think it just happened in the Basque Country.
Oh,
That's
right,
the
right.
tenuous link. It was a crime that happened in the Basquelands.
Basque people are businessmen. That's definitely
True.
Lots
And
of,
it's a really rural area where they were, so it's probably a small. I'm sure everybody knew these guys, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's really
Probably.
rocked the area. Pretty shocking.
I would think so. It is shocking.
And I
to
would
hear.
imagine the suicide was maybe, factors into the fact that it was such a small place and how, maybe heat of the moment murdered this guy and then thought, what have I done?
Yeah.
And how am I going to face everybody after this?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. Very heavy.
And they were pretty young, too, 47, 53.
Okay, wow.
I mean, that's not that young, but it's...
Yeah, prime of their lives,
Relatively
I
young,
guess.
yeah.
At least taxable.
Yeah, so they apparently had continuous disputes about how to manage the property that they owned together.
Well, let's not buy an abattoir together.
I know,
Jules.
right? It just leads to murder. Lesson of the day.
I mean, that was the vibe and the property. It was just like a killing property.
So that's my first story.
So I'll just,
Do you have questions?
Well, one, I wanted to explain myself. Like, I live here and I have no idea this happens. It's because I don't watch the news in Castilian or Basque. I'm starting to watch it in Basque, but not much. Mm-hmm. So that's how I don't know about those things. So
Yeah, it was pretty fresh, though. When did this happen?
Yeah.
This was, dang it, I didn't even look, but let me look at the link. I always keep the link. On April 20th.
okay.
So I guess that was a little while ago.
420. I was celebrating.
420, yeah. 420, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a crime for sure, and it was in the Basquelands.
It was about 10 days ago.
Ouch.
No, 15 days ago.
Very sad. Well,
Yeah.
I hope everybody recovers somewhat from this tragedy. That's really
Yeah.
not. It's going to take time, huh?
Doesn't have any information if they had family. I mean, obviously the family, but I don't know if they were married or had children or anything. So, yep, there's that.
Ouch.
So, keep an eye on that. Maybe it'll develop into an even more intense story that we could possibly do a main episode on.
Sure, yeah, maybe, possibly.
Some convoluted stuff in there that
It could be interesting.
what?
Find some drugs or something.
Twists. Yeah.
We are not we're not suggesting anything, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting. My turn then.
Yeah, sure.
So, in honor of a friend I met from Colombia, I was looking for crimes in Colombia.
Okay. Okay.
And it was we took a little bit longer than usual to find crimes today, and I kept coming across different things. Amongst them, how there's a very heavy presence of Basque people in this region called Antioquia in Colombia. And
I actually saw a news story about that today too when I was researching.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just speaking about that in general.
Yes, that story, I saw that.
So, well, this is, it's not necessarily connected to that, but it was interesting to come across that. And I think we will definitely visit that area again. And at some point, I think in the 70s, some researcher was looking into the books in Bogota and found the phone books, just that kind of research, and just counted up all the Basque surnames. And he found more than 215, or more than 200 surnames.
And this is a town or a region?
Antioquia is a region, like I would say it's a state. I'm not sure if they call it a state.
Yeah.
And then Bogota is the capital.
Right.
So, just saying it's quite a big presence there they've got.
All right.
It sounds like I'm going to like to go back to the historical part and find some history crimes there.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure where this occurred because it's kind of in a forest, but it is in Antioquia. Oh no, here it says here. I just don't know what a corregimiento. It's in the corregimiento of Yarumal, which is in Antioquia. So I guess a corregimiento is something like a municipality or something. Anyway, so it's in the region of Antioquia. And 1 year ago, this girl was killed. Laura Alejandra Flores Aguirre. Aguirre being our surname of concern here. Like it's a very traditional Basque surname. I think even one of the first, one of the PNV people is an Aguirre. One of the top, the main nationalist party here. There's some Aguirre. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but it's a Google away.
Definitely is.
And she was a geologist, and she was working to find gold for Continental Gold, which is a company from Canada.
Okay.
And they would work for, I think it was 20 days, and then they would have 10 days off. And then they go back, and so she was having concerns about security, and she would talk to her father every day, and unfortunately that day she was especially nervous. It so happens she was killed later on. These guys, a group of people, turned up and just sprayed shooting like this house where they were staying in, and she died because of that.
Whoa.
Yeah, very, very. So it's 1 year on now, and they have some names of suspects, 6 or 7 people.
Anyone.
I mean, it's not funny, but so where is this line here? So another 10 people suffered injuries, and yes, 3 people, another 2 people died. Other 2 geologists who were just beginning their careers. And so the 6 people are the people who are the suspects at this point, right? After the first investigations were Garbanzo, they're all aliases. Garbanzo, Samir, Botija, Andres, Jonathan, and Nanis. They're all... The first 4 are dissident groups of FARC. Were in a dissident group of FARC. FARC is the left-wing militant group who's fighting against the government
Okay.
or who has been fighting against the government, and now Colombia is signing a peace accord with them and trying to move on to peace.
Mm-hmm.
So these 4 people were from a FARC dissident group, so they didn't agree with the FARC's peace negotiations. And the Jonathan and Nanis are from another paramilitary group called ELN. So that was, and they were the people who turned up and shot at the group of geologists. And then they surmised that the head of this operation is a guy whose alias is Cabullo. And he actually turns out to have a Basque surname as well.
Oh.
Where is he? Ricardo Abel Ayala Orrego. And Ayala, is a place in is it Navarre? I think it is.
I don't know.
In any case, it's a Basque town.
Okay.
So
I will take your word for it.
there's a Saint Ayala, I think, as well. In any case, it's also a very, very common first name
yeah.
in the Basque country.
First name, yeah. Hey, Ayala.
Shout out to our friends, yeah. So the first person to fall, as the article says, was Botija, who died when the Air Force bombed the camp he was in.
Wait.
Yeah, it's pretty intense,
Wait.
right?
They suspected this group.
Mm-hmm. But they are paramilitaries, right?
Right, but the government retaliated by bombing their camp?
I mean, it wasn't immediate. It's like they were
like,
just
we
bombing.
know they did it?
They were bombing camps, and then when they went to identify, they were like, oh, this guy who was responsible for the geologists was also in the camp. It wasn't like specifically against him.
Like they weren't targeting him, yeah.
Apparently, they did target this camp because they believed Cabullo was there at that point.
Okay.
So that's the excuse for bombing the camp.
Jesus, it is
but
very convoluted, right?
Very intense.
Super convoluted. Damn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we should just leave it at that, no?
So they've bombed one of the guys, and they haven't arrested anyone else.
Somebody else was killed as well.
Because the story I saw today about it was that they were holding some sort of vigil to just don't forget that these people died, and I guess kind of asking for action.
Which ones?
In this story, because I saw an article today when I was searching. If I'm not mistaken, this was the place.
You did read about the story.
I didn't read the story. I just saw that it was in
Antioquia.
Yes, that name I recognize. And then I was like, oh, I don't know, where is this? And I didn't realize where it was.
Colombia.
And it just looked like they were holding like a vigil for those who had died.
Okay.
In this, shooting.
Okay, maybe.
And like to perhaps like ask for action to be taken.
Well, it is a year later, so it would make sense that they're, trying to... Oh, that's interesting.
And that's probably why it's in the news here, right? Because it's been a year and people are like, come on,
It's a topic in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, send us in more information if anybody has relevant information that you think we've skipped. It also says here that on the 6th of October 2018, Garbanzo was captured.
I love that name, by the way. Garbanzo.
Garbanzo is hilarious.
Can you imagine if that was like your gang name? Garbanzo. You can call me Garbanzo.
I like Garbanzo. It's a good name, I think.
I
I'd
do
be happy
too.
with
I
that.
love it.
I'd be happy with that.
I personally love it.
He was
small, like me,
Yes.
In and out of things.
In and out.
Roll in, roll out of the
dryer.
Like if I need to. Yeah.
Is that your
exactly.
your secret
in and out of the dryer
superhero move?
Yeah, like I could just like slip in, slip out. Nobody would notice. I'm so small.
Okay, let's do this illustrated novel, Jules. It sounds like a project.
No,
I like it.
Go by Garbanzo.
Super Garbanzo Garcia. Anywho's, so Garbanzo was captured by the army in San José de la Montaña in 2018. So that's another one.
Oh, they caught him.
Yep, apparently they got him with the gun that actually killed. I forgot her name. Let's go back.
But in 2018.
Laura Alejandra Flores Aguirre. I know. I'm a little bit confused. When
Now
is the
that's
story
confusing,
from?
yeah.
Sorry, the story is from 2019. So that's why. 20th September 2019.
Huh. I'm going to have to look again in my archives to see if it is the same story.
Written by Heidi Tamayo Ortiz. And we did look up Ortiz, and it's not Basque.
Pretty common Spanish.
Apparently, it comes from. It's like a kind of nettle. Nettles. Would translate.
Ortiz. Oh, okay.
Ortiz or Ortega. I think those are the only two that were captured or that we know of so far. Well, to the point like a year ago. So maybe more of these people were captured. And yeah, that was a story I found.
Okay.
Let's hope they get more of the people.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any resolution. Yeah, just going down there to do your job. And so she was Canadian descent.
No.
She was Canadian.
She just worked for the Canadian firm.
Oh, so she's from there, but she was working for a Canadian company.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
A geologist there. Yeah. Huh. I wonder why they were targeted. That's weird.
So in the story, there was a part where she says a couple of days before or a few days before.
Yeah, because she was fearing for her life and stuff.
Yeah. So and apparently, so I don't know how long before. I'll rewind a little bit more. Like 2 or 3 weeks before, another group of geologists that were camping somewhere close by. They were 4 or 5 people came with guns, and kind of told them to get out of there. And so that was happening. These people safely got away, and 2-3 days before the crime, and I didn't understand this very well, but they some army clothing turned up, torn apparently. So it was apparently they interpreted the
like
torn clothes, as a we don't want any military around here. But that's how ambiguous it was. And then a few days later,
they associated maybe the corporation in cahoots with the government, raping the land somehow, maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely the argument that FARC would be making. Which, and also, they also fight for indigenous rights, which has been an issue over the last decades and centuries, I would say.
In most places.
Yeah.
That are colonized.
Exactly.
No?
Exactly. Yeah. But some places have had indigenous leaders, and like Ecuador or Peru in different stages, and they have tried to address some of those problems. Not very successfully, but
Right.
I think Colombia definitely has been a place where the elites have always been in power. So
Yikes. Yeah.
let's hope the peace goes forward. We're actually just commenting this also because the Colombian president was visiting Spain, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. You did find out a story today.
And he was a bit rude to the king, apparently.
Which we didn't really understand what his faux pas was either.
He apparently didn't want to wear
something.
a franc,
and
whatever that franc.
We don't know what a franc is.
In Castilian.
And I told Douglas, I was like, we're never going to need to know because we're never going to have any meetings with the king. So there's no need for us to worry about it, getting a franc to wear, whatever it is, in front of the king.
I felt it was like a sash or something like that, or a fancy necklace, something.
So he was supposed to wear something, and the king was super offended.
Well, I kind of liked the response of the president, because he was like, it's just some anti-democratic symbols of power, and I agree with him.
Yeah, he called it elitist.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we were like, yeah, that's cool.
Go Colombia, yeah. Let's bring us back down to earth and hope the peace talks go forwards.
Yeah. Okay. Should we take a break?
Let's
take a break.
See you guys soon.
Okay.
And And we're back.
Hello.
As you say, summer's coming.
Summer has arrived in May.
Yeah, a bit too early, but hey.
Yeah.
It's alive. Huh?
Okay, so the next story.
We're here.
Nurse faces legal action for faking Spanish kids' vaccines.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That already is reminding me of that story from Italy. You know that story I'm thinking about?
No.
There was this doctor who charged extra for people that wanted a false vaccine. And so they pay him and he'd inject them with the correct vaccine.
So that they could like say that they got it
Yeah.
for for trans travel and stuff. And
Yeah, because there
COVID.
were anti-vaxxers in Italy that didn't want the vaccine.
Right.
So this doctor said it wasn't the vaccine.
So he said, "Oh, I'm just okay.
Yeah, I'll just give you some, insulin or whatever, some
B12
whatever,
vitamins,
something, yeah." But he'd inject them with the
real vaccine.
the real vaccine.
Oh my god! Well, that sounds like they could sue him for that, right?
Maybe it's Italy. Who knows? Everything can be sued for, I guess. It depends on your legal system.
Well, this lady.
Sorry, I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah, that was funny. That's funny.
So what's she doing now?
Okay, so 42 families in Spain are pursuing legal action against a nurse whom they allege faked the process of administering routine vaccines to their children. So the nurse worked for 18 months at a government clinic in Santurce, which is in Bilbao, right? That's
North of the Greater
it's
Bilbao.
like Greater Bilbao, yeah.
On the metro
Where
line.
the port is, yeah.
Yeah. Super port, as we call it.
It's a super port. It's so cool.
I mean, it's very big, and they built it out quite extensively. I don't know when, though, but yeah, it's quite a new
Yeah,
port.
we got cruise ships coming in there. We got everything, all the shipments.
No, the cruise ship comes into the
Santurce.
Puerto Deportivo, no? I always thought they came into Puerto Deportivo. Maybe they don't.
No, I
Okay,
wouldn't think so.
I believe you.
But maybe. I don't know.
It would
Seems
make
like a more
sense.
fun place to show up.
It does. I just know because I see them coming out the metro. I'm sure it's on the metro.
But they wouldn't have to go through any customs stuff?
They
Maybe not
have
with
that
cruise ships.
wherever the ship arrives. But I guess it might be Santurce. It sounds more logical to be Santurce.
All right. Well, I don't know. I always assumed, I guess, that it was Santurce because that's where the port was.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
We will know.
Shall we look into
So-
it? Maybe not now.
Okay.
Well, now Douglas is going to look into it, so let's see. Where do the cruise ships come into Bilbao?
En el puerto de cruceros de Bilbao, Julie.
There's a cruise ship
En
port.
Getxo.
So yeah, maybe you're right. Yep.
Because
That is Getxo.
Getxo is where the
Puerto
this,
Deportivo.
which we would
Right?
call
It's called Puerto Deportivo.
we would call it a marina in English, right?
Yeah.
So it's where the marina is,
Yeah.
and that's I guess
Huh.
it's either next door to that or
Well, it is a lot more like fun to show up there than
Isn't
at the
it?
big port where all
Absolutely.
the shipping containers are showing up.
yeah, it's a lovely.
But the ferry? What about the ferry that comes from England?
That probably I don't know. That's a different question, Julie. That's a different question. But they come with cars and everything, so.
Yeah.
What's the name? Is it Southport, Newport? What's the name of the English city? It
I
comes
thought
from?
it was like Birmingham.
Southport.
It's not Southport.
No. Oh,
I thought it was.
Portsmouth.
that's the one. Santurce y Siervara.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
So it's between these two. That'll be Santurce.
Yeah.
15 kilometers west of Bilbao, it says. Oh, well. I mean, maybe you could say that. It's more north
So that's
than
where the
west.
ferry comes in. All right.
West.
All right. We've got it all worked out then. Where are these ships coming in? Anyway, well, this nurse. She was working in Santurce in a clinic for 18 months. So they began their investigation in October after receiving complaints about the health workers' behavior.
Okay.
So when parents would take their children to be vaccinated, the nurse would inject them with, quote, very secretly and very fast. And then threw the vial directly into the garbage can. So some of the parents that are like involved in this lawsuit, saw that the vial was still full.
Ouch.
Yeah. So the nurse hasn't been identified. But she had also made frequent comments on discharging vaccines. So this is a Google Translate. So discharging, I'm assuming throwing away vaccines.
Yeah, this sounds weird.
To discharge vaccines?
Descargar? I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds like a weird word.
Yeah.
That sounds like applying it, right?
I can look to the actual article because I always save the link to check those kind of discrepancies.
It sounds like an injection, right? She would, but
Yeah,
then,
it was a vaccination.
But then it would make sense.
No, I didn't check. This is the one I did not check. Keep the link.
It's okay. In any case,
all right.
She's doing something wrong with the vaccines.
So when they tested the affected children's blood, it was discovered that many didn't have the antibodies that would be expected from receiving those vaccines.
It feels like a smoking gun.
Yep.
That's a weird
So
smoking
the
gun
legal
to have.
case centers on the nurse's falsification of vaccine records, which showed jabs had been administered when they allegedly hadn't, and the misuse of public funds by throwing away unused medicine.
I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like a big word to say misuse of public funds when you're just throwing out some vaccines, but sure.
Well, yeah, of course, you bought them all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with them
I
all.
agree. That's
It's just
misuse of funds. Throwing them away when
Yeah, I agree.
these things can save lives. The Spanish media has reported that up to 400 children could be affected. Yeah. So the last note in this article was like, anti-vaccine sentiment is generally rare in Spain.
Yeah.
They have the second highest rate of public confidence in vaccines in the European Union after Portugal.
Yeah.
Spanish government statistics show that uptake of most infant vaccinations is more than 90%. So,
Good numbers.
yeah.
I will point out, though,
Yeah. Okay.
that the Basque health system is separate from the Spanish.
Yeah.
Although the vaccine thing, I
Might
think,
be
was
that
done
might be.
nationally.
Yeah.
As a whole thing together. But yeah,
And perhaps other vaccinations as well, like
No,
the
well,
rubella and what are the MRMs? It's rubella, mumps, and measles, right?
yeah, you got it. It's the son of a nurse for some reason.
I'm a daughter of a nurse.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Like my dude friend, Julie. You like my dude friend.
All right. So, okay. So Douglas was unable to find many stories, so I'm going to tell the rest of the stories, okay?
It is true.
Or do you have any more comments about this nurse before we move on?
No, I was just gonna say, just in general, that yeah. I mean, I had a big problem during the COVID times, ethically, with the fact that the Spanish government took over the Basque health system, and I thought that was unwarranted, and it was just an interference in our business. There are other aspects, like buying vaccines together, where not only did the Basque country get together with Spain to buy vaccines, but different nations in Europe got together to buy in bigger batches.
Right.
And of course I'm up for that. But they took it over for, I don't exactly remember how long. It was something like 2 months. You know, during the first outbreak of the
Pandemic.
of COVID, yeah. And I just didn't like that. I mean, I trust in Osakidetsa to make the right moves, and I think it's just confusing, and
Yeah.
it wasn't, yeah.
I mean, I imagine it was just a collaboration because it was so out of control. And there were so many deaths here, too. It was pretty high on the death in terms of Europe.
Yeah, but like, you know, it wasn't unusual more than anywhere else. Like the Basque country specifically wasn't bad.
No.
You know?
No, just Spain in general.
Yeah, because of the number of older people. It's just a general
there's a lot of elderly.
consequence. So, yeah, that's my thing. You know, I wish they had just left Osakidetsa alone, and that was irritating. I didn't like that.
Okay.
I wanted to register that.
All right. What do you think of this nurse, though? Faking.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's weird, right?
I mean, I mean, it's fake news, right? That's the cause of that. Is fake news.
What do you mean?
It's because Facebook has so many weird
Oh,
people.
like disinformation
Yeah.
or misinformation. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's not something that I don't think it's something that would naturally occur here. For the anti-vaxxers to sort of start movement or anything. Mm-hmm. So I see it kind of like as an outside influence in the beginning. Although now there's people who firmly are skeptical.
Yeah.
And it's an unfortunate situation.
Particularly with the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
But like
It's
in
a
terms of
specific-
like the other childhood vaccines that everybody gets these days in developed countries.
The danger is that would spread, right?
Yeah.
That people would be more and more
That
reluctant to get
sentiment, yeah.
vaccines. And that's an issue in general, but I don't think it's a specific
It's not very
concern for the
prevalent
Basque
here.
country.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
We're
this
on the
lady
right
took it into her
side.
own hands
Yeah, it
for
sounds
at
like
least 18 months, it turns out.
it's the only thing she could do, really, huh?
Like, did she go into the field for this? Like, was this her...
Her whole project.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to go to nursing school. I'm going to go ahead, do all the grueling hours. I'm going to get the marks you need to get into nursing school
Yeah.
just to do this.
Like, how do you pass it? You have to go and you go, I don't believe in this, but the correct answer would be this.
Yeah.
Like, she'd know the correct answer, but you
Yeah.
still... It depends how young they are. If she was super young, I could believe that, but
No, I don't know. She's
think she's-
unidentified.
she's probably just changed her mind at some point, I would suppose.
Maybe, yeah. Perhaps. Yeah.
An odd one, I hope.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah, she'd been working for a long time, and it was just in this period of 18 months, something changed her mind, and she decided
And it could
to...
be specific to COVID vaccines, because there was a lot of
No,
talk
it
around
didn't say anything about being COVID vaccines, more
Oh,
like
no.
those childhood ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
like
right.
the ones
I had
everybody
misunderstood
gets.
that.
Yeah.
Right. I had misunderstood that.
Yeah, it wasn't COVID.
Oh, so she has to be dealt with. That's dangerous.
She has to be dealt with.
I mean, who cares about COVID, right? But measles, freaking hell! You have to,
I know, right?
There's new outbreaks because of those things, and then people who haven't been vaccinated get it. It's a mess. It's a mess. Mess.
Yeah.
Good. It's good that the system is dealing with this problem. Can't believe that people got away with it.
400 children may have been
a lot of
affected.
kids.
Yeah. Maybe it's not too late to... Maybe they caught it
Oh, it won't be. Yeah, it's all
Get
those.
it now
All those
instead
things
of
are pretty low.
when you were supposed to get it.
Yeah, we don't have many cases, so it should be addressable now.
Yeah.
And they'll have that list of whoever she treated, right? So
Yeah.
It's a question of just going through.
And
them.
it sounds like they tested several kids.
Mm-hmm. And it's not too long ago, right? So,
No, this was in October when they filed the lawsuit
right. So they'll.
or made the report, or
Mm-hmm.
they denounced her. How do you say that? They reported her.
Yeah.
All right. So
Interesting.
this story, I feel like we had a story similar to this on another Txikisode about a squid that appeared on a beach, right? A giant squid.
Maybe it
A
was
dead giant squid.
something recalls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was a dolphin.
Oh, poor baby.
I know, on a beach in Deba.
Mm-hmm.
So, this dolphin appeared on this beach in April.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently a year ago, like a year from this time,
Mm-hmm.
there was a whale that had beached on the same beach.
Okay.
And a bunch of people that were at the beach kind of got it back into the water, and it's assumed that it found its way back to its herd or whatever.
Okay.
But on this occasion, this year, so that was a year ago, was a dolphin, and people also tried to save it, like tried to put it back into the water.
Mm-hmm.
But they, it just kind of ended up dying.
back,
So
okay.
they, this is a quote from one of the bystanders or whoever was trying to help the dolphin. He, they gave it the pronoun he.
Mm-hmm.
He was with, this person was with with some children, his kids or something. We saw him at the edge of the water, and we tried to take him into deeper waters, and at one point used a like a piece of material to help move it.
Okay, like a towel or something, probably.
Yeah, trying to move it back into the water. Yeah.
Because then you can have 2 or 3 people kind of try and lift it together.
Yeah, and so they did manage to get him into an area where there was enough water for him to swim. Yeah, so they did give the dolphin the male pronoun. He moved, he wagged, this is the quote, he moved, he waggled, but with hardly any strength. He did not advance, and after a short time he turned on his side and allowed himself to be carried away by the water until he ended up on the shore again where he died. Poor Bubba.
Baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were saying that this is a striped dolphin. It's a species that inhabits the waters of temperate or tropical zones around the world.
So he's totally out of place.
Yeah, and their size and shape is similar to that of other dolphins that inhabit the same waters. However, their coloration makes them easy to distinguish. The underside or the ventral part is white or pink, but this one had two dark blue strands or blue bands that start from behind the ears and end on the pectoral fins.
Yeah, like we're googling pictures. It looks like a beautiful dolphin.
So this one often moves in large groups, so it's kind of weird that
it's out of place.
It was like on its own
and alone.
Yeah, pobre.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say here though.
How weird, though. I've never seen a dolphin here, have you? Or whales, but I know there are whales that people have seen. Yeah. I've never seen one.
No, I haven't either. I mean, we have to remember they were hunted extensively in the Basque country, so it's kind of understandable.
Yeah.
But here, I just clicked on the Wikipedia, and it does show, like...
that this area would have them?
The Bay of Biscay would be its habitat.
Okay.
So, it's definitely the northern... ends. I mean, I think it goes up to about England.
Temperate. Would it fit into temperate climate, right?
Maybe it's one of those where if it's like winter, they might not be here, you know? And
right.
they'd go to warmer waters, and then in summer they come up here. Because, that could be the case. Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely heating up.
yes. So they thought maybe this was the tropics. I don't know.
Poor baby. Imagine, like, maybe that was... Maybe the sea was too warm, and it thought they were somewhere else. Who knows? That's very
it could have been. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna tell this other story because I saw so many of these stories when I was searching. So they're really concerned right now about the security of security guards, particularly on public transport.
Oh.
Because there have been like an uptick in assaults on these security guards. And I had been thinking a lot because of our last story about, what was his name? Koldo Laranjaga, the guy that killed the serial killer that killed the 4 people in our last story in Vitoria. Remember, Douglas?
No.
You were there. I told you the whole story.
Oh, that guy. Right, that guy. I just didn't recognize... I'm just terrible at names.
Yeah.
But yes, the one that killed
Remember,
4 people.
he was kind of like a con man and a hustler.
Yeah.
But one of his jobs that he did after being a Basque teacher was a security guard.
Oh,
so it got me thinking about, like, the job of a security guard. And I don't want to, like, throw any shade at people that work as security guards, but they always kind of seem a bit sketchy, right? Like, you couldn't be a cop, but you want to have some sort of position of authority. So I don't know. That's why this story caught my eye.
Yeah, I would say it's a role that some people might gravitate to, which are maybe not the best.
More than
people.
others. Like, I would never want to be a security guard.
Yeah, no.
Would you? No.
I mean, I'm a doorman, so
yeah.
I'm
so
sort
you're
of.
kind of, yeah.
I've never been interested in violence at all.
Yeah.
I'm there to keep the peace, and you know, and in my books, I'm clearly just there to kind of tell people what the situation is,
or what they can or can't do.
Yeah.
Like, it can't come in or not, right? But like when it's a security
There's a
guard and you
lot more
see somebody
detail.
doing something wrong, and they're already in the place, basically you don't have any other authority than to say, "Don't do that."
Exactly.
And
when
then
it
if you
escalates,
need backup, you need
I have to call
police.
the cops. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what this is about. Is that they're trying to get more. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish. Like what they would want a security guards to have. It's kind of just being talked about right now
Yeah.
because there was a these have all been kind of happening in the same area on the Renfe train.
Okay.
One agent had to receive medical attention from being pushed onto the ground. They got attacked in the there was a group in San Sebastian port on some group of kids or young people attacked this guard. And another one was attacked in a supermarket in Irun. These all seem to be happening in Guipúzcoa.
Yeah.
At the end of March. But this most recent one, so they're calling it like an increase in these assaults on security guards that are primarily... Well, no, this one was in Renfe. Two of them were in Renfe, and the other one was at the port, and the other one was in a supermarket, right? Mm-hmm. So
It's
they're
very varied.
so they kind of find themselves to be defenseless because they don't really have any real authority.
Yeah.
Like you can't actually tell somebody. You can tell somebody stop doing that, but you don't really have the law, I guess, on your side. You have like the public. You have the private institution that you work for's permission to tell people what to do. But like literally, you can't arrest anyone.
No.
You can't detain anyone.
No.
Right? Like, so this one that was most recent was the security guard got attacked by a group of people who were smoking on the train.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So went to tell them to stop smoking, and they attacked them. So,
Wow. Intense.
So yeah, there's all these unions like saying, "Come on, we need to." But I'm not sure what they really want.
Yeah, it's a hard one because like
I don't know what they want. Like, you don't want to give them guns. You don't want to give them
don't want escalation.
tasers or like things like that. Cause,
No. I'd be happy with some more protective gear, but how much is that going to help, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like gun violence. It's just people pushing and maybe some punches.
Yeah, and it was for smoking sort of things. It's always like these minor... And I guess like the thing in the supermarket was somebody maybe shoplifting or something.
I mean, that's something clearly against the law, like you were saying.
Sure, shoplifting is against the law, but it's not
but smoking as well.
Yes, but these things are not super... you're not putting the public in danger by shoplifting or smoking on a train. In the sense that, like, you're not...
Still breaking the law.
Tasked with... Yeah, but you're not tasked with, having to stop somebody from causing harm to others. And perhaps there are cases where that is the case, where a security guard has to step in with a fight or something.
Fights,
yeah.
I don't know what the kind of policy would be if they're supposed to intervene or not. They might not be supposed to intervene and just call people. But I mean...
But I've seen security guards so many times, too, that are just, like, taking their authority...
way too far.
To the umpteenth level, right?
Yeah.
Interrogating people. They're like, you are clearly... I've seen it happen where it's like clearly a racial bias, or it's like a, So, I also have my issues there with that.
It's a dodgy one. It's a similar one to the police, right? Like, they have authority.
Or telling kids to stop sitting on some steps.
Yeah, that's
And it's
too
like,
much.
what were the kids doing? They were just sitting on some steps hanging out,
Yeah.
So, that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
I mean, I think there's so many issues there, like there's humans and power and how easy it is to just not know how to use it or use it too much. Or there's a lot of issues there. And training and psychological appropriateness of a job to people. I mean, yeah, it's, I think the solution would be just for it all to be robots, but we're not quite there yet. But,
What would the robot do?
I mean, it would. Number one, nobody's worried about if it's going to be
Stop
hot.
smoking.
Yeah.
Extinguish the cigarette. Wee wee.
Google
Just make it
Bards,
really annoying.
GPT.
That would be actually good. Like the robot
don't-
would just make it really annoying for them to just be on the train anymore.
I mean, the security guards can do that too. They can take a whistle and start whistling.
Yeah, but they're
in
not
your
in
face.
any. They wouldn't be in any physical danger. Like the
They
robot
would
could
be,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah. Could be on the floor going beep 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 beep.
Yeah. This person is smoking.
I think you're being disparaging towards robots there, Julie, with that voice.
My 1980s idea of robots is what's coming to
I'm
mind.
just saying, they're going to be ruling us soon. We have to be nice to them.
You don't have to be nice to robots. They don't have feelings.
Well, I'm not sure, and you're not sure either, are you? They might have.
As far as I know, they don't.
Yet. Let's leave the options open.
Yeah, it's okay. In your world, the robot would come up and try to, like, try to talk him down. Like, do you really need to have a cigarette right now? Just try to diffuse the situation. How would they intervene?
I think the first request would be a request, no?
The second one would be what?
I'm really sorry. It seems like you didn't notice you were in a train. Would you mind turning off the cigarette?
And the second one?
According to law number 77345, you are not allowed. Sanctions include this.
And the voice changes.
Yeah. Well, why not, right?
Yeah.
You gotta use
and
your
then
tools.
The third? What would be the third one?
I am going to be forced to intervene physically now and have
the police have
turn...
been called.
Maybe.
The police will be meeting you at the next stop.
Yeah, I have identified you as Jose.
Yeah, that's right. Facial recognition.
I am sending
they took a photo.
€300 fine to your house in this right exact moment.
Well, there you go. Okay, I can see it.
Lots of possibilities there.
That's that story. Okay.
Get some Tesla bots on the.
Let's see what other ones do I have.
On the Kapuska train from now on. See how
this one. Do you have anything else you want to say about the security guards?
Go robots.
Go robots. Okay.
Stay on brand.
All right. So in Guipúzcoa, 4 people were arrested for identity theft in the theoretical driving test.
Okay. Identity theft.
Wait for it.
Is it like you're taking the exam for me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
Exactly. So 2 of the defendants traveled from Navarra and Barcelona to take the exam in place of the real candidates, or the people that were supposed to be taking the exam.
A lot of work here.
Yeah. So they've arrested 4 people between the ages of 37 and 50 for impersonating their identity upon payment. So they got paid in order to pass the driving test. In Basquelands,
Basquelands.
And Aspetia. Yeah.
How odd.
Yeah. Because they did not want to take the fucking theoretical test. I mean, I feel it. Like, if I could just get I can drive, but I don't have my driver's license yet, which is like a shame because I know how to drive.
Okay, so you don't have a
But I don't have
license
a valid license here because I have to take the test. I got to do some driving tests. I got to pass both the practical and the theoretical.
So this was a personal story for you, Julie.
Well, I thought,
I never thought about hiring somebody. Not suggesting Julie would commit a crime.
No, and I wouldn't. I'll just study for the stupid test and fucking do it the right way. Yeah, so they paid some people to go take this test because what a pain in the ass to have to take this test.
That is weird. Because, on the one hand, I would assume, younger people are not very good at driving, and maybe young people would do that, but at 40, 50-year-olds?
No, these are the ones that were arrested, that were taking the test, being paid to take the test.
So maybe it was for, a 20-year-old.
So I think it was, I can't, I have to check.
Interesting.
I don't know who.
Because that would make more sense, right?
I don't know
people
who.
are driving less and less, and...
Yeah, and you could have been older, too, because it's quite expensive as well. I mean, you could be paying up to, €1,000 just to take
through
both
one
the theoretical test and all the driving practice.
Right.
And then you take the driving test. So, it's very expensive here to get your driver's license.
I know a lot of people travel out because every municipality has a different thing.
Yeah, so people go to different areas, to take it because it's a lot cheaper than the Basque country.
Yeah. So, but that's not illegal. It's fine,
Right,
to
because
just
it's
go
a national.
Galicia and take a test in Galicia because it's cheaper.
I actually considered it. I thought about, maybe I'll just go spend a month in Cantabria. Take some tests.
I actually didn't know you didn't have a valid license here. I'm surprised because, Americans.
I know, and I miss driving a lot.
Crazy.
But I really don't, when do I ever drive? But I do kind of miss the idea that I could rent a car if I wanted to, those kind of things. That's when I'm like, damn it. Well, and I miss driving, and I would like to be able to drive. But anyway, so
Gran Turismo.
There was 2 Pakistanis, the 4 people that were arrested. 2 of them were Pakistani, and 2 were sub-Saharan.
Okay.
Aged 37, 39, 40, and 50.
I'm glad they're so good at passing tests.
I know, and like
Isn't that nice?
yeah, and they're taking it in another language, not
Yeah.
their native language.
That's pretty good.
Which is kind of like.
And that's half
So
the
one
reason
of
you
these-
probably didn't do it, right? You're like,
I heard you could take it in English if
oh,
you wanted
really?
to.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's
But like
cool.
I have an app to,
I mean, imagine
to take
that-
practice exams, and it's all in Spanish, so I might as well learn the
Right.
you know, whatever the what do you call it? The
I'm sure you could like spot like 5 mistakes in the exam if you did it in English.
yeah, because they're always trying to trick you too. It's always like a multiple choice
that's
question, so
horrible.
they're always trying to trip you up.
That's
you know,
horrible. Yeah.
like in most multiple
really-
choice exams. So that you also have to think that way too. Like they're trying to trip you up by picking the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, if this happens, should you pull off on an exit and stop? Mm-hmm. And one time I selected that, for example, on one of these practice exams, and it was like, no, you should actually continue. Don't stop on the exit. Get off the exit and go somewhere where you can stop. So that was like the trick.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, yeah, I guess so. You have to read it literally. Like, don't stop on an exit, which I would never do.
But then when you're thinking about it in your head, you're probably thinking there's an extra bit on the road and you get off the main road, you know, to be on the sides.
Yeah.
And that would be safer.
I can't remember what the actual answer was, but I just
again,
remember getting that wrong.
one.
Like to exit the freeway or whatever, the motorway.
Wow.
And I got it wrong because it was like, I stopped in the exit. Which is like, I would never stop in the exit.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. I mean, let it be registered. I don't drive, never have, never tried to pass. Not interested.
So, but also one of these guys, okay, so
They have an
maybe they
excuse.
weren't taking it in, they had help from the outside while taking the exam.
Oh, they didn't even know it themselves.
Yeah, that's what
Like the
this in this
computer or
case,
something.
because I'm going to tell you how one of them did it.
Okay.
So the examiners detected that another applicant used an electronic device made up of a Wi-Fi router, a portable external battery, and a micro camera located on his shirt,
Wow.
and a small-sized telephone through which he received responses via vibrations in the form of a Morse code.
Wow. So he knew Morse code. That's...
Well, I'll tell you what the Morse code
Oh,
was.
it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
If the answer
Right.
was A, 1 vibration.
Yeah,
if
that's
the
not-
answer was B, 2, and C, 3.
Is that Morse code? I know.
No, it's not.
Maybe it is for numbers. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting. Anywho.
Yeah. And then the investigators learned that this man... Oh, so this is a different one. It's not the Pakistani or Sub-Saharan. It's a Moroccan man.
Oh,
Was paid 2,000 euros to do this
wow.
exam.
It's a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a nice gig.
That guy really didn't want to take the exam, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, there you go.
I mean, I think everybody's going to start. It's not start. Everyone needs to stop driving soon anyway, so
Yeah.
what's the point? Definitely not going to
I
spend
like
2,000
driving,
euros.
so I would like to continue driving. I enjoy it.
I love driving in games. It's hilarious. But
Yeah.
I especially like dying. It's flying
Yeah,
off
off the
sides.
edge of the-
So
yeah.
fun in VR. Recommend it to everybody.
All right, shall we do a final story?
Let's go.
This one was my favorite of all the
Okay.
stories. Okay.
Ending
This
on
is
a
the
high.
headline. This is a Florida man, so it's finally... you had a Colombia one, I've got a Florida man story.
Florida Man story is a genre.
Yes, it is.
We have to
Absolutely
hashtag
is.
Florida
man.
Man.
And I was fucking stoked to find out his surname was Basque.
Nice.
Because I was like, yes, I can tell this story. Man running from cops stops to pet cats, goes to jail.
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Oh. It's a crime to arrest a man petting a cat. I think.
Well, he wasn't arrested for that. He was.
I'm sure. No.
So I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
the story, okay? I'm just going to read this to you, okay?
But while a man is petting a cat, it should be illegal to arrest them.
Yeah. Leave the cats alone. Sir, step away from the cats. We don't
But
wanna
I'm
hurt the
petting.
cats.
We have a situation here. It's been 3 hours. The man does not
He's just
stop
trying
petting.
to calm down by petting the cats. Like, I just want to calm down. It's therapeutic petting
He's
a
running
cat.
away. He's running away. What is happening here?
Okay, so police say the Florida man led them on quite a chase. All right. All right. A Boca Raton man last week who was in the middle of fleeing police stopped by a home, asked for water, and then proceeded to lay down and play with the homeowner's cats.
Lay down? What kind of house some stranger comes up to you, lays down on the floor, and is petting my cats? I'm not so sure about that.
Which essentially is what caught him caught, so I'll tell you the story.
Florida, right?
In Florida.
Weird place.
Yeah,
you gotta visit. Have you visited?
Very Florida. No, never been to Florida.
Curious?
I am.
I'm
really curious, yeah. I do want to go to Florida someday.
I want to see this 1920s architecture.
Yeah.
And then the birds.
I just want to see, yeah. I mean, and it's like in the Caribbean, essentially, too. So it's like got a lot of pretty places as well. Got all those alligators. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. My grandfather loved watching the birds. Like,
it's just like tropical. It's like tropical.
Yeah.
Part of the world.
Tropical, yeah. I follow a few plant channels on YouTube. And the gardens they tour down in Florida are beautiful. And yeah, they have things from all the tropics and love. It looks like a really cool.
Yeah,
It's a shame about their politics.
It's a shame, yes, exactly. That DeSantis is in charge, that fucker.
Ouch, that's a mini crime.
I know, and I don't want to get political, but man, that man makes me so mad. Anyway, so the man was accused of taking $2,000 out of a friend's wallet following a night of partying.
Oh, wow.
Then he crashed a Lexus into multiple vehicles, including a cop car and a fire hydrant. And then he ran into this residential area. So, right, the cops were after him. He hit a cop car.
What a mess.
Yeah. So all the cops were following him, right? So the Boca Raton and the Delray Beach police departments were on his tail.
I hear a lot of heavy steps.
Yeah. So the man walked up to Candace Noonan's back sliding glass door.
Oh, Candace.
And let himself in.
Okay.
So he just let himself into this woman's house.
Another crime.
Saying that he was a landscaper working next door. He asked her for a glass of water and she obliged.
What a generous woman.
I know. She's like, wow, okay, you must be thirsty. So when she returned with the water, the man was lying down on the floor playing with her cats. And then this is her quote. It was very odd.
I mean, this guy's on something. Come on. He's crashing into police.
So when Noonan's husband tried to question the man, he fled outside and tried to get away from police by diving into the intracoastal waterway. So he dived into some water.
Okay.
The crew on board a police boat landed him, caught him.
Uh-huh.
And then they took him to jail.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So his name is Daniel Pinedo.
Uh-huh.
Pinedo. And so I looked up the surname.
Which is, it sounds like Castilian.
Yeah. It's Pinedo Bella Patino is his full name. Mm-hmm. So this is it's Basque. I looked up the surname origin. Basque, habitual name from Pinedo, a town in Alaba, which is a province of the Basque country.
How interesting.
And the name comes from a variant, like a pine forest, or it comes from a variant of Pineda, which means pine forest.
Okay.
Pinedo is a variant of that name, and it's the name of a town, right?
Yeah, I would say
so he was 21. He now faces a long list of charges, including burglary of an occupied dwelling. So that's him walking into her house, I suppose. 3 counts of drug possession, 3 counts of assault, hit and run, and grand theft auto, among others. And he's 21. He's a baby. God, but he loves cats. You gotta love that.
Redeeming. He's got to get at least 2 years off of his sentence.
I know.
Because of the cat petting.
He's got a big heart. Yeah. He's like, oh, look how cute your little cats are. That is adorable, isn't it?
I mean, I love cats, but I don't throw myself on the floor.
Not if I'm running from the cops. I would throw myself on the floor. But not if I'm running from the cops in the middle of
that boy's
an
not
escape.
well. That boy's not well. Poor baby.
No, he probably was on drugs. It did say that the night before he was at a party and stole $2,000 from his buddy.
I know, that's a fun wallet
after
to
a
have
night
around
of party, so...
I'd be happy to be partying with somebody with $2,000 in their wallet.
I know. Who carries around $2,000 in their wallet?
Never heard of credit cards down there?
Robbed.
Yeah. Sketchy.
Totally sketchy.
But a good story. I liked it. Nice and lightweight.
Yeah.
There was diving into water.
Nobody died. Yeah.
I mean,
it was quite the chase, right? Crashing a Lexus into the 3 cars and a cop car and a fire hydrant. I wonder if the fire hydrant, like, exploded.
The water.
Yeah.
The classic
like in
scene.
the movies. That would
Beautiful.
be awesome.
It's definitely going to do that in Reconstruction.
Yeah, when we make the movie about his life.
I mean, it's very charismatic.
Yeah. And the
So many
husband coming
fire.
out like, so you're working next door. I didn't know the Millers were doing any work in their yard.
Yeah. I see no work in their yard.
My cover's blown. I gotta go.
So he stole from that house. Did he take the glass?
I
Did
think
he like, run
he
away with
was-
the glass?
I don't know, like, that's the weird thing is, like, that was the report. He stole something from the... No. Oh, you mean the burglary charge?
That's charge. Yeah.
I think it's just entering her house.
Oh, that's considered burglary. Okay.
Well, walking in.
I would say allanada. You know, it's like
It's like
invasion of
breaking
the
and
house.
entering kind of thing. Like letting yourself into somebody's house. It's not your house.
But that's considered burglary. It's just for me, burglary.
It feels like it should be stealing.
Well,
Yeah. Maybe the glass of water there. Like, we're charged with the glass of water.
Wait a second. Just because the
No,
word.
but burglary is stealing. Like, legitimately.
Yeah.
But I think you could probably get charged with burglary just for entering a property that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
you'd
wouldn't be
think
surprised.
that would be like trespassing or something, but...
That's the word I was looking for, or forceful entry.
Yeah.
Forced entry. That kind of word is what I would call
Yeah.
it. But yeah.
But he didn't... He must have just... It was open, so he just walked in. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that an excuse? I don't think it's an excuse.
Well, no, of course not. Of course not.
As in not forced entry, but yeah, I see what you mean, I guess.
Yeah.
It wasn't forced, but it wasn't a burglary
Going
either.
into someone's home
It was
without
less
permission.
of a burglary.
But I love that
was a
she,
forced
like,
entry.
obliged him. Like, can I get a glass of water? She's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, if you've
There's a
got
lot
a
of retired
stranger in your
folks
house,
down in Florida.
I think I just obliged to get him out of here as fast as possible.
I don't know. She left him alone, right? Went to go get the glass of water.
Comes back
And then
he's
came
on the
back and he was
floor.
on the floor with her cats.
It's a
So it
hilarious
just sounds
scene.
like a nice lady that was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll get you a
Only
glass
in
of water.
Florida. 10 points Floridians.
Well, Americans are kind of friendly like that.
They
Most
are.
well, I shouldn't say that because there's a lot of stories where they're not friendly, but
There's a lot of friendly stories too.
there are a lot of friendly people.
Yes, I was shocked by friendliness in America.
I know they are really friendly.
Yeah. I remember because like people say Bilbao is a very serious town. Like people don't smile a lot.
They're suspect. Yeah.
No, like for me it's just. I mean, I worked in bars for years and years, and so I like that. From it's a little bit of a selfish point of view, but from my point of view, nobody's paying me to get some smiles in my face.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to kiss anyone's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm just serving you, I'm comfortable not smiling most of the time. I'll give people a mini smile, but I don't want like free lines on my face for strangers. So I kind of like that. And then I go to New York and I stay in my friend's house first morning, right? After the airport arrival thing. Go out the street. Good morning! Isn't it a beautiful day? And I'm like, I thought New York was supposed to be like...
Rude, right? Yeah.
Resting bitch face as well. But no. It was super friendly.
No, I remember going to New York too, expecting them to be rude because it was a
Yeah.
big city, and being surprised that
Much
everybody was
friendlier
really
than-
friendly and helpful.
Much friendlier than Bilbao for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, 10 points everybody.
10 points.
Hope you guys enjoyed the story.
This Txikisode, whether or not it was cheeky, well,
Yeah.
that remains to be seen. But
It's cheeky in our hearts.
thanks for joining us for another episode. Oh, do we have a mini crime?
Oh,
Did anyone think of a mini crime?
didn't you think of one?
Well, it's not really a mini crime. I was just talking about some old lady that...
It's a thematic from the crime because we've had a security guard in the metro already, so it's appropriate.
So I was on the metro, and this lady was sending a text on her phone, but made sure that she was first in line to get out the doors of the metro on leaving the metro.
Right.
So it was like blocking the door with herself and wanted to be the first one out.
Which is acceptable if you're paying attention.
Fine, like if you got up there first, fine, go, leave. You be the first one out. But she just kept texting, and it was like, we're at the stop. She wouldn't open the door, and there's all these people standing behind her.
Yeah.
Open the door, lady. We all have to leave.
Oh my
but she was busy finishing her text.
Mini crime.
Yeah, but I imagine, she did eventually push the button and open the door, but...
3 seconds later.
But I was so... It's more about, it's a crime because I was irritated.
Is it
by having to, like,
is it a
especially
politeness
because
crime?
somebody runs up to the door to be the first one out. You know what I mean?
She did that? I didn't.
Well,
I didn't
yeah,
get it.
like,
Okay.
it's one of these people that, like, goes, I'm going to be first one out, you know, like, and makes their way right to the door. Because everyone's moving toward the door.
Yeah.
So it's obvious several people are getting off at this stop.
Especially the main stops.
But she made sure she got right there, but then got back to her texting. And, yeah, so I guess it's not that big of a crime.
Attention crime.
It's just
politeness
like a
crime.
politeness crime, yeah.
Politeness crime.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Or, if you're not in that big of a hurry, don't
in general,
rush to the front.
People are quite nice in the metro, though.
Yeah, but I still get really irritated by people that when you're trying to leave, they just start coming in.
Yeah.
That's just like, that drives me insane.
Like, and I lived in Tokyo for some time, and they had the markings on the floor always, and you'd have a place for, like, right in front of the door, which is like, don't stand here, because people are going to exit the car. Mm-hmm. And then next to, on both sides, you had little
Entry.
lines for queue up here.
Yeah.
Until everybody's left. Cause,
off the train.
Yeah.
Making room on the train, right?
I can't leave because people are in front of me.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Nobody learn about the Japanese
loading,
unloading
it's
train
insane
system?
to me. I don't get it either. Like, let people off first and then go in, you know?
Yeah, I know. I get the pressure. I like to be the guy opening the door. And I'm always, like, pressing before it's arriving. I'm like, just for everybody to see that I'm really trying. We're not going to wait 1 second further.
As soon as it's able to open, it's going to come open. And we're all getting out of here.
I make a little bit of a show. I'm always like, click, 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 click. So nobody gets a second too late off the train.
And especially if you race to be the first one.
Yeah. Yeah,
you should definitely be on the door duty.
That lady's in your black books
Opening
now.
the door for everyone else.
Black books.
All right, Douglas. Well, it's always a pleasure
spending
this time with you and exchanging crimes of the Basquelands.
Crime stories. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
And hope to see you next week.
Yeah. So we bid you agur.
Crimes of the Basquelands is written and produced by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
the sound and editing for each episode by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
I'm Megan Dooley.
theme song written by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia,
I'm Megan Dooley.
sung by the choir with no name and produced by Tom Squires. Podcast art by Distinct Signal. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Crimes of the Basquelands and contact us at crimesofthebasquelands@gmail.com with story ideas worldwide which have a connection to the Basque Country or any rave reviews. If you like our podcast, please subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, agur!